welcome everyone to the Full Throttle Sim Racing League. My name is Jeremy Stanley, and tonight we're bringing you live action on Nerd TV from Dover, Delaware Speedway. This 1.0 mile monster mile, as they like to call it. This track is, as you saw on Wednesday and as you've seen in real life, this track's been around for a long time and takes lots of victims. And the tire wear is pretty crazy here, as always. And it's a next-gen time now. We saw them complete their race today on Monday due to rain. And now these boys get their chance at the next-gen at Dover, Delaware. But anyways, like I said, my name is Jeremy. And to my right-hand side is Mr. Pashib Yanek. How you doing over there tonight?
Yeah, I'm doing good, man. It's nice to be back up in the booth here. Cup Series, a couple races left in off the season. Mentioned it on Wednesday. Dover being one of my favorite tracks, I always enjoy it. And hey, I'm a fan of Chase Elliott, and he took it home today too, so that's extra exciting.
Absolutely, man. Broke that 26 race winless streak. I do believe that number was kind of put the zero now there, and now it's Kevin Harvick's time to clear his 55 streak, I do believe. But we have 3 races left in this season, though, and including tonight. And Mr. Richie Coy has got a 13-point advantage over second place rookie runner Ryan Hedrick. 18 points back at him is Casey McMullen. So these top 3 are the only ones really in contention of the points unless some crazy miracle happens where Wayne, who's in 4th, 37 points back. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to do it only by a miracle, but right now the top 3, Casey, Ryan, and Richie, still pretty active. And if Ryan can get some things turned around on his luck, maybe he has a chance. But Richie, right now in this past month or so, has been super dominant, Kenny.
Yeah, Richie's been, he's been dominant, I feel like, in everything that we've been watching him this season, but especially in the Cup, and lost a little bit of ground last week. Casey McMullen gained a little bit and caught it close there, but, I'm looking here, Jeremy, on the entries, and I don't see Casey on the field right now, so he's got a couple minutes. I know we had this happen on Wednesday where they squeaked it by at the last moment, so we'll see if Casey can get in here, and if not, this could be a Richie and Ryan thing in the last couple of laps if he doesn't show up, and they might be battling it out, but we'll see what happens. Got a couple more minutes here. And we also got qualifying. He can squeeze on in there. So, but, kind of looking at the standings, Jeremy, we had a lot of late people kind of jump up there. We had Chuck Sweeting leading the way, and Brandon Elder was having another great practice. But you see Kevin and Lane taking that 2nd and 3rd spot in practice.
Yeah, a couple guys that kind of finding their groove here at Dover, doing some good work in the practice sessions right now. They look pretty stout, too. The cars look fast. Like, the time says one thing, but if your car's not moving around, shaking around, they're not searching for lines. It looks like they got their stuff pretty dialed in. So I'm sure they're excited to get this race underway to see what they can do and see what kind of points they can earn for tonight. But yeah, I think Casey made Monday, and he did finish 2nd last weekend. McMullen did. But I think this week might be a little bit of a troublesome, though we have seen him pop in late before. So it wouldn't be unheard of, but he's got about 3 minutes in this session plus qualifying to find his way in here, which, if you're not getting practice at Dover, that's, you need practice to conserve those tires.
Yeah, 8 minutes, that's quite a bit of time, so hopefully he can squeeze in here because you'd hate to lose the championship or even a thought of losing the championship over missing the race. And unfortunately, this is real life, things happen, so he could have an emergency, so we hope all is well there, and hopefully we see him out here soon. But yeah, this will be a fun track with the tire wear too, Jeremy, taking effect. We saw this, last week. The trucks, ARCA, the Xfinity, all of those. I think, the ARCA had five, I think 5 or 6. I think it was 5 that finished on the lead lap. We saw on the trucks, I think 3 or 4 on the lead lap. And then Xfinity, I think we had 6 or maybe it was 2 or something like that. 3. You were in that race, so you can help me fill in there. But we see a lot of that happening over the last this whole week. So we'll see what happens today. I think we might kind of see a little bit around that theme where maybe outside the top 10, we might see them go a lap down here if these things spread out with a green flag run.
Yeah, Xfinity on Thursdays, a Full Throttle Sim Racing. I did finish 2nd, 1 of 2. You are correct. I 1 of 2 to be on the lead lap. That's a fixed setup, too. Everyone's on the same playing field, right? So now these guys got their own setups in these things in the Cup cars. And at Dover, or in the trucks, you said there was about 6 or 7, which is correct. And that's an open setup. So we'll see what the next gen provides us. That's just crazy how much tire wear this track eats up. Miles does not care what kind of food you throw it to him. He's going to eat you up regardless, including those Goodyear tires. So, it's It's tricky to build a setup here because how the corners, you dip so low in the corners and then you shoot up like kind of like a roller coaster almost is the best way to describe it. How these corners run. If you've never been on Dover before, it's been around for a while. I'm sure anyone watching this has probably raced Dover at least once or have seen a race on it before. So it's just a pretty fun, unique track. I know it's one of your favorites, and in the NR 2003 days, it was also my favorite. The long run, I have a struggle here.
And you mentioned it with the roller coaster. I ran practice with you there a little bit on Thursday, and I was just having fun out there, just riding the high side and just driving it down. And they're coming off of, 2 or 4 and getting that run down there. As you mentioned, they come right back up the hill on the back, and it's just so much fun to drive around. It wasn't the fastest, but it was just a fun time, and it didn't wear the tires down too much either. So we'll see what that plays an effect on it. But it's just a great track. It's fun. We saw on Wednesday off of 4 was the troublesome spot. So I believe it was off of 4. So we'll see if it's going to be off of 2 or off of 4 tonight. I've already seen a couple of guys here off of 2. Kind of, you can see that car kick sideways a little bit. I think we had, the 91 there. Kenneth Schultz we saw there kind of kick sideways one time. I saw Wayne Grassy. He went down, I believe, in the front stretch. So it'll be interesting to see what turn's going to cause the issues tonight.
Yeah, turn 4, the exits. These walls jump at you in a hurry, especially coming off that hill. So we'll see exactly what 200 laps here at Monster Mile does to these cars. But it is time for qualifying. As always, we do have people to thank that bring Nerd TV and Full Throttle Sim Racing together to bring you some awesome action every Monday and Wednesday nights. Starting with the league themselves, you just need to go to FTSR.net, sign up. There's 3 races left this week in the Cup, and then there's 2 weeks remaining in the trucks and the Xfinity. And the new seasons are right around the corner. I think they're only taking a week or 2 off. And so if you want to participate in some awesome action that you've seen every Monday and Wednesday over here or more, go to their website, FTSR, sign up, and be a part of next season, which should be just as fun as this current one. And then thank you to Sim Racing Points, the presenting series sponsor of Wednesday's Truck Series. It's the all-inclusive league points management system. If you head over to FTSR, speaking of which, if you go to their, the series page and you just look at all the stats that system provides from Sim Racing Points, it's flooded in detail of how much it keeps track of. So it's a prime example of how well that system works, and it offers customized widgets as well, not just full page displays. So go to Sim Racing Points as well after you check out the FTSR website and check out other pricing plans. It's not really a bad price at all, and you get a crazy amount of detail. And quick shout out to Martin Sports as well, home of the sim gloves of all sim racing. If you head over to martinsports906.com, use promo code SUPERNERD at checkout, you get 25% off of anything that you had in your shopping cart, like you got your t-shirts, hoodies, hats, Nerd Swag. That's officially got pre-orders up on the website. You can go to nerditudes.com or from martinsports906.com. Click on their teams page, their partners, and you can see Nerditudes on the drop down. Just click on that and you can see all the pre-orders up. Some pretty sweet looking gloves, I would say. Co-made there with our producer Dustin. So martinsports906.com. Then you have iRacing iFlag, official flag partner of Nerditudes. You head over to iRacingIFlag.com, and if you purchase his product, make sure to use the code SUPERNERD at checkout, 15% off. It's that LED indication system for iRacing, built for iRacing exclusively. It gives you a bunch of commands like all the flags that display. It shows you all the indications, whether someone's high or low, or just whatever your spotter is really communicating with you. This little 4x6 3D printed system is awesome to have. Really bright LEDs. Keeps all the action, or all your focus, rather, onto the racing surface. Once again, that's iRacingIFlag.com. Then official audio enhancement partner of Nerditudes is none other than the Butt Kicker, home of the Gamer 2 unit at the Nerd headquarters. Brings all the bumps and feels of the track directly into your racing seat. It gives that feel, that much needed feel, to have your peak performance on the racetrack, especially at Dover. You're really going to get a good sensation from this track with this product. You're going to go to thebuttkicker.com, use promo code NERDTV for 20% off anything you buy from the Butt Kicker. And then the official energy partner for us is none other than Nerd Focus, because nerd like nerd products. You're going to go to nerdfocus.com, use code SUPERNERD for 10% off of their 2 flavors. The green one on your screen now, that is your sugar variant, and then the blue one is your sugar-free. That's going to be nerdfocus.com. And then shout out to Moonlight Speed Concepts, the official Nerditude's asphalt setup provider. Professional custom setups that are worked on by a big group of guys every single week. They make Road to Pro setups. They do a bunch of behind the scenes, work with a lot of drivers, really. You're going to go to moonlightspeed.com, or you're going to check them out on Twitter. And join their Discord, too. It's a great community to be a part of, and really good prices on some really dominant setups. So if you need a W in the column, head over to moonlightspeed.com and get yourself a W. Then if you go to houseofspeed.us, same deal, but for the dirt setups, you can go to houseofspeed.com or houseofspeed.us. Go to their Twitter as well. And again, the professional setups on the dirt side, all oval. Don't think they have any rallycross. I don't know if that's in the works, but all the oval sides covered with all the big blocks and the late models and all that good stuff is there for you guys. And these setups are super amazing. Drive phenomenal. Even tacky surface, slick surface, does not matter. It'll get the job done for you. All right, that's going to kick it right to race. Perfect timing on that read there. So, Mr. Pashib, would you like to go over these top 10?
Yeah, looks like we got Sherwood Wilford there taking the pole spot. Has had some great runs this week. Richie Coy going to start on his outside. Chuck Sweeting, we know he's fast here at Dover, is going to be on 3rd position starting out. Lane Allen rolling off 4th. Kevin Rupert in 5th. Brian Dubois in 6th. Brandon Elder 7th. Rolling off in 8th is Chris Beck. 9th is Josh Johnson. And 10th is going to be Kenneth Schultz.
Starting in 11th, in row number 6 is Wayne Grassi. On his outside is going to be Go Galk in 12th. 13th place, you'll find Chad Lang. In 14th place to his outside, you're going to find Steve Loomis. 15th place is Tony Solari. 16th place is that runner-up in the championship right now, Ryan Hendrick. 17th place, James Wallace. 18th place looks like will be Ralph Nolan Jr. 19th place, we will find Stephen Lou Allen. And 20th place, you'll find Matthew Gehringer. 21st, Brody Hanna, if he does pop in, which I think he has officially backed out. I think he's just doing admin calls. That's why he's on the list. And then Brian Bliss, and then 18, rounds out in 22nd. So he did not make qualifying time, and I'm not sure if he's going to be in this race. We'll find out here. But he did turn a practice time, so we'll find out here in just a moment.
Yeah, it looks like Brody, like I said, probably won't be showing it up tonight. So that one and Ralph Nolan, like you mentioned, backed out. And then if Brian comes in, then that'll put him in the 20th spot. So I'm interested to see what Stephen Lou Allen does. We saw him last 2 weeks, won the Bristol Dirt, put on a show at Talladega. Was definitely a fast car there. So we'll see where he's at this monster mile here at Dover and see what he can do.
Miles is a monster, so either way you would have presented that would have been correct. These cars are starting to roll off. They're going to have, I think, 1 pace lap, and then these guys are going to be set loose for 200 miles, 200 laps around Miles the Monster. We'll see who comes victorious and can slay the beast here, but Sherwood Williford, taking that top spot is a great place to be. Also want to notate that guy on his outside, Richie Coy. He has turned 98 laps in practice plus Q. So before the green flag drops for this event, he's already got 100 laps logged, Kenny.
Yeah, he's putting in the work this season. It shows that he's coming in the points leader, and we saw how he was on the restarts here on Wednesday and had great launch, him and Chuck Bowe. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens here on this restart, see if he can kind of get that momentum on Sherwood as they're going to head into 1 and 2 and even get that run off heading into 2. So I'm excited, Jeremy. We're about ready to roll off.
Absolutely, yeah. He's got that benefit of Case McMullen not showing up, so this is going to be a 2-car setup here for the championship final 3 races. Dover's going to be one of those 3, and we see late Larry. He's ready. He's early and late at the same time because he waves it only after the cars pass him. Not sure why.
Green flag.
Green flag is out. I think he actually timed those cars perfectly underneath them. But Sherwood Williford and the 19 of Richie Coy are going to be side by side entering turn number 1. Richie with a dominant, restart over the 33 is going to clear him, no problem. Richie Coy to the lead.
Yeah, and we got one in the wall. Looks like Kenneth Schultz there, and there's a couple of them there, Jeremy. Oh, hard hit onto that inside wall.
All right, man.
Caution is out. Lap number 1 on the backstretch. Looks like it involves Kenneth Schultz, Gil Gawk, and Mr. Johnson, I think, in that 67. Just barely squeaked by, but 2, and then Steve Loomis as well. Looks like 4 total involved in this thing.
Man, that you could see him there as we were watching Richie Coig and all the leaders sure were behind him come off. You saw Ken Schultz just hit the wall, and then right in there got that's going to be the 85 there, and that hard hit for the 85 and for Kenneth Schultz there. I think that might end their night, Jeremy. The way that those hit that inside wall.
Yeah, those two, the 85 and 91. That's going to be a lot of repairs minimum. The 12 Matthew Gehringer just barely squeaking by in that Menards Ford Mustang there, and then as well as the 67, Mr. James Wallace. I said Johnson, but it's James Wallace. He maybe had some contact. You see on Gil Gawk right there, heads on, just slams in the 91 a couple times. You see the 12 barely escape out there. Just really unfortunate start here. Not even 1 lap in, taking out 2 really good cars.
And you saw Kenneth Schultz there. He got a woo-woos coming off of 2. Tried to correct it, bounced off the wall. As he slowed up, then that's when he got 85 got in the back of him, and then bounced it off the wall. Tried to collect it, just couldn't keep it going. And I think the 85. I'm not sure if it was a 67 that got into the back of him, but he definitely looks like he got hit, and that's what gave him that shove down there to the inside wall. And big damage on Kenneth Schultz. The first lap, not even complete lap 1, and have that happen. That's unfortunate for him.
Yeah, I mean, these guys put so much practice in it over because they know it's a tough track, so you have to be extra prepared for this kind of track. And all that's just erased within a matter of, 2 minutes from taking the grid to being exited, or at least, having a long pit stop. And it was that 17 of Steve Loomis that kind of propelled the 85 into the inside retaining wall there, as you see on board here with Wallace, or you did rather. Just barely cleared those guys. I think he had slight left rear damage, but I think he's going to be okay.
Yeah, I heard Gil Gawk said that he was, had a lot of required, and he was thinking about calling it a night, but they were saying, just kind of wait it out and see if he can gain some spots. So he might be waiting it out, Jeremy, and he's definitely not going to be competitive, but we might be able to gain a little positions there by points. So we'll see what happens. Him and Kenneth Schultz are still down there, I would imagine, 8+ minutes, if not a lot more of required damage there. But we saw Richie Coy, as we mentioned, before that restart, seeing if he had a great launch like he did on Wednesday, and he sure showed it. I mean, he was a car length or not more coming before he even got off at 2 there. So great restart, or not even a restart, great start for him. We'll see if he can have a great restart here. Yeah,
notate as well, I didn't realize Kenneth Schultz turned 110 laps in practice, and now he's sitting on pit road, not even lap 1 completed. So that's a really big heartbreaker for that team. I know they're looking forward to Dover, and tonight's just not going to be the night. We'll see what kind of damage and what kind of body panels they replace to get that thing back out. But yeah, he's going to be probably 10 laps down at least before that thing is fully repaired.
Yeah, and Gil just backed out, so he decided to call it a night. He's done. So that's going to be our first driver that retired tonight. Like we mentioned, Brody Hannon, Brian Bliss, and Ralph Nolan Jr. all did not start the race, so we had the start of 19 cars. That's going to put us down to 18. Kenneth Schultz on pit road. Going to have 17 out there running, Jeremy. So already kind of shortened it up. And we kind of mentioned this a couple of times throughout the season where we see the guys, is that Kenneth Schultz right there on the track? We've seen a couple cautions real quick, and then right after that, green flag run. Yeah, that is Kenneth Schultz. Look at that.
I'm super surprised his car is able to run right now. I expected 10 laps, and here he is on lap 5, rolling back behind the field. So let's see if that car can hold minimum speed. Right now, that thing's looking like some kind of modified that you would find in a dirt car, or dirt track rather. So we'll see what that car has in store for everybody else, but probably won't be up to speed at minimum. There's a lot of aerodynamic disadvantages with having that open radiator nose section fully exposed out there in the air. But going back to the start here, we got Richie Coy this time on the bottom, and at number 33, Sherwood Williford on the top. Sherwood kind of learned how Richie Coy does the starts. Let's see if he can maybe redo that initial start and kind of take over what the 19 did. and get a good jump on him. He's kind of laying back about half a car length, kind of keeping it nice and safe. So if there is any kind of jump, he's secure of not passing the line first.
Green flag, green
Waiting
flag.
for the green flag. It flies. Good start by both of them. They're going to be pretty side by side. I think the 19's got the slight advantage. 75 of Chuck Sweeting is going to be right behind him as well. But the 33 is able to sneak in right in front of him to take over second, exiting 2.
I think Chuck had the best start on that one. He had the check up there for Richie because he timed that thing perfectly, and that slowed up his momentum. And I was expecting him to kind of go with Richie, and I think he was expecting Richie to go a little sooner. But as we see, going to complete our first green flag lap here. Richie Coy is going to still lead the way. A couple car lengths gap here on your second place is Sherwood Wilford, followed by Chuck Sweeting in third place.
Yeah, fourth place, and we haven't seen him in the front too. Oh, yeah,
Right,
another
man,
one, number
caution is
7,
out.
Gil
Caution
Galt,
is
looks
out.
like the number 4 as well. That being Chad Lang and a few others. The 67, James Wallace. 17, Steve Loomis. 44, Chad Lang, or not Chad Lang, I'm sorry, whoever the 44 is, my apologies.
Beck.
That was Chris Beck, that's right.
24 came flying in there too. Stephen Lou Allen. I don't know if he was trying to just pedal down and try to get through it and clear through or what, but he hit Wayne hard.
Yeah, right in the rear bumper there on the left-hand side. You're going to see Chris Beck's 44 shot here, turned by the 57, and that starts the in chaos. See the 17 slam into him, and then look like Tony Solari, and then James Wallace right afterwards. So I'm thinking kind of about 7 cars in this event, or this wreck here, and that's basically the big one.
And Jeremy, this is unfortunate for Richie. Richie ended up making contact with Steve Loomis on the backstretch, and that's going to give Richie some front nose damage here. That is not what he wanted here. I don't know what Steve was doing there. I think he's trying to get off the track or turn back around and spun it sideways or something, and Richie ended up getting into him. He was going backwards. What was he doing?
You know, I kicked it over there too. There's such a lot of action going on that wreck. I was trying to cover everything. I did not catch that at all. But yeah, Steve Loomis went high. Richie was like, okay, I'm going to go low. And then the 17 said, okay, I'm going to roll down the track, stop right in front of you. Made Richie kind of make a quick maneuver, was not able to avoid him. And actually, yeah, pretty decent contact, square on the nose there of that 19. So we'll see how that plays out. But yeah, unfortunate there as you see the 17 involved in that wreck on Nerd TV. Once again, another camera angle. There's just so many wrecks going on.
Yeah, that I look back to see Richard. I'm like, why does he have nose damage? And yeah, that's a weird. That played out weird as he was driving backwards and went up the track. I'm not sure if he had something wrong with his wheel or not, but let's see what happens with Richie. Yeah, as we're gonna see right here on Nerd TV. Look, he's gonna be going backwards here, try to spin it around, going decent ways back, hits the wall, and there's Richie. Nowhere to go.
I didn't even see how far backwards he went. That's almost like a DQ style. You can't go that far backwards in iRacing without them throwing you the black flag with the white line. So I don't know what that was all about. Maybe he tried doing a burnout and forgot to spin the tires to loop it around, and it just made things worse. But you see right there, Richie Coy just slams his right front tire. He did not come down to pit road to fix it, though. You can definitely see it on the nose. He has got some damage for sure.
Yeah, we'll have to see how this plays out, Jeremy. Yeah, that's an interesting one. So we're gonna see, the one to keep an eye on now. Ryan Hedrick, he started 16th. He's in 9th place. This could be his opportunity to get back into that point standing. He's 13 out. I mean, we had 19 make the field, so he's got some room to go. Can gain a couple spots if this is gonna hurt Richie, and Richie's gonna probably be looking for another yellow there. He can get this repaired under a yellow flag stop. He doesn't want to give up the track position right now. He wants to see how it plays out, but kind of a turn of events real quick, Jeremy.
Yeah, this is the wildest 10-lap start I've ever seen at a non-super speedway, I think, in a very long time for myself. And yeah, you definitely don't want to give up that track position. That's why he's staying out. But at the same time, if there's a 10-lap green flag run, you bet he's going to be coming down and try to get that thing serviced to maximize the aerodynamics. But you got to be concerned, though, anytime you take that square nose shot, you got to be worried about those water temps. That radiator playing a direct effect right where you hit the 17's right front tire. So, I'm sure he's going to be staring at those gauges as they're up to speed. And hopefully there's nothing wrong with it, because that would just be one of those, it was already unfortunate enough that it caused that. And then if he had any further issues because of that contact, that'd just be such a heartbreak.
Yeah, it would. I mean, especially so early in the race. I mean, we're lap 11, getting ready to go to the restart on lap 12. So we'll see how this restart happens. See if it affects him at all. We know he had a great start last time. I mean, like I said, he even though it wasn't as great as that first start, he still had a pretty good one. You know, Chuck Sweeting I think had the best. So we'll just have to keep an eye on it, see what happens, and see if these guys can make a couple green ups, get these tires kind of warmed up and settled in first, and then get some green flag laps down.
It looks like they're able to turn the first couple laps on that first restart of the night, and they look pretty solid to my point. It's just, this track is such close quarters, and those walls come right up to you, and that looked like it would have been one of those cases where when they came off of turn 2, they just got too close to each other just because they maybe pushed up a little bit tight early. Who knows? It just looked like one of those cases. Hard racing early on, but yeah. Let those tires get warmed up. Let them do their thing before you go full ham on these things. But we're going back to green flag action here. The 19 with a terrible restart. 33 Sherwood on the move. 14 Lane Allen takes over second. Chuck Sweeting gets hurt by that as he falls back into fourth place right now as one of Kevin Rupert on his outside trying to get that fifth spot.
You hate to see it. I mean, you could just see it on the start there, Jeremy. Just no go on that thing. And we'll see what happens, though. He's getting up to speed, see if he can run these guys down. But, yeah, that slowed up a lot of people. Chuck Sweeting, as you mentioned, kind of checked up that whole inside lane. Looks like we got around this one pretty clean. I saw one car. Looks like Lane Allen kind of nicked the wall there. But Richie Coy's making his fight back here on Lane Allen.
He's looking really impressive now behind this number 14 of Lane Allen. Let's see if he can able to get below him. But right now it looks like Lane's running a pretty confident line himself. But if he keeps giving that inside lineup, you bet the 19's going to be right there to dip below and try to take that spot. These guys single filed out pretty quick as well. A couple guys kind of dropping to the back. Maybe it looks like the number 37, Brian Dublé, one of those guys running the mid to upper line, not feeling too confident in his car. Other than that, they're just all single file.
He was pretty close there last lap, too. I don't know if you saw that coming off of 4. I thought he might have touched that wall, but he slowed up just in time and avoided some contact, which is good because he had his teammate right there who's battling for this points lead of Ryan Hendrick, as we see he's going to make his way on by there. I'd expect the 37. I thought he was going to fall back in line, but it looks like he's going to drop back a little bit. Still kind of riding that outside lane. But everything's single file, Jeremy. We've had a couple green flag laps. Let's see if these guys settle in. What are we on lap now? Lap 15, so plenty of time left in this race and see where this kind of pans out.
Yeah, crazy amount of time left in this race. That number 4, Chad Lang, who's behind Brian Dublé in that 37, he is really loose. You see him off the turn 2, that rear end just wants to kick out, so maybe he's set up for the long run. Short run is not his friend right now. He is struggling. He is searching, going high, going low. Trying to find grip where needed. Looks like turn 4 is a lot better. Still a little wiggle, but not much. But turn 2 is kind of like his kryptonite. But yeah, these guys continue to space out. The number 1, Kevin Rupert, kind of falling back here as he gets passed by the 57 of Josh Johnson. And on his inside now is that number 51, Brandon Elder.
Yeah, Brandon Elder, we saw had another strong performance there in practice, showing that he's got the speed. Nice to see him running. Started 7th. He's going to be moving up to 6th place, so gaining some spots as we see Kevin dropping back and had a little bit of damage on the side. Nothing that's going to hurt him, but like most of these cars that we've had at the start of this race, there's a lot of damage to a lot of them, and there's still some clean ones out there. But kind of looking back up to the front there, Jeremy, as we see Richie Coy here, just 2 spots ahead of Josh Johnson, running in 3rd place. He's got the speed to kind of maintain with these guys. I just don't know if he's has that speed he had before, or if he's just kind of sitting back and relaxed and waiting to get around Lane Allen, because he is all over Lane. I don't know if he's just waiting for him to make a mistake or not.
Yeah, you got to take care of your tires here. You don't want to force the issue. That's probably what he's doing, though. I'm sure he'd like to be up there leading every single lap possible, but it could be just biding his time, or maybe that damage has made him just a little bit tighter. Maybe he doesn't have the corner grip that he needs. We saw the opening lap there on that restart. He had a lot of grip, and he's kind of just been stationary since. So his car could be just a little tighter because of it. Could be struggling, or he could just be waiting. Either way, got a lot of laps left before these guys have to head down pit road. So, and they're all single file. They're actually starting to bunch up behind 19 a little bit. At 75, 57, 51. They're all within a car length or 2 of each other. So this could propose some good racing here shortly.
Yeah, he might be just going slow enough, like you said, everyone's getting bunched up and they want to make a move, but just trying to find the opportunity to make a move without causing any issues or anything like that. And as soon as they can get a chance, if he didn't like the 2 cautions that we probably had at the start of this race, but I think Richie is probably hoping we can have one around the time that we need to make a pit stop and get some repairs done under green, because right now we have about 14 on the lead lap, and he is sitting in third, so that is quite a bit of ground there to make up. But with the car that he had before, I think he could make his way up through the field, so that might be something he's going to take advantage of if he can. And if we get some green flag stops, he's just going to probably blow through fixing that repair and maintain that track position.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we already have 6 out, or 3 out, 3 on pit roads. Drops us down to 14, all within 8 seconds of your race leader, Sherwood Williford. Quick shout out to the chats to Mr. Jake Thompson. How's it going, Jake? It's going pretty good up here, man. Hopefully the views that you're watching right now on your TV are just as good as our angles that we got going on our ends. But got about another 175 laps in this event before things are done. Sherwood Williford in that 33 still. It's kind of maintaining just like everybody else. They're actually kind of all closed into the 14, 19. It's still pretty bundled in. If anything, that 33 is starting to fade. I did just check the last couple laps, and Sherwood Williford starting to lose some ground, and sure enough, here's that 14, about 2 car lengths now off that 33. So this could be a good little 5-6 car battle, all for the race lead. To see the 19 trying to take a look.
Yeah, he got right there on the back of Lane Allen there in that 14, and Sherwood's not really that much ahead of them. I mean, he's only about 2/10 ahead of these guys. So this is going to be a good battle here, like you mentioned. I mean, we got about 5 or 6, 7 right there, kind of under a blanket, and then the leader Sherwood just a little bit ahead of them. So one mistake, and we see on this track, many a times before, Jeremy, you mentioned with tires start wearing out, and you slip up a little bit on this track, and you'll gain some time, or you'll lose time, I should say, pretty quick. So one mistake, and these guys are going to be all over you.
Yeah, it's really hard, man. Even on Thursday, it's so tempted to just go, you know what? I know this track's got some banking. I could throw this thing in there and stick it. But the moment you feel those front tires slide up the track, you scrubbed about a 10th or 2 off your next lap on this concrete surface, and that's exactly what happened. So you really have to play the patient game. You can't just go, all deep right into the corner. You have to be a little conservative here. You got to let the car come to you. It's a tough thing for a fast driver to go, hey, slow it down, because it's going to be fast later. But sometimes, like Dover, that is how you have to play this track.
Yeah, it's a game like that, like I said, and some people are good at the saving the tire in the long run. We saw Richie. I mean, he was able to save the tires, get the long run, put some laps down on people. So the setup's going to definitely play a factor here too as well, depending on how you can manage that tire wear and everything. But I kind of feel like some runs here, Richie, as we see Lane kind of move up a little bit, and Richie looks on the inside, but little boost coming off the corner there, Richie is, and that's going to get the 75 of Chuck Sweeting right on the back bumper of that 19 of Richie Coy there, as he wants to make a move with that little mishap there.
Yeah, you like to not to dive it in there into turn 1 and try to take that spot. He played the patient card and said, you know what, I'm going to wait just a little bit longer before I make that move, give you one chance, see how it works. I noticed, too, on the Xfinity race that I raced in, that in the beginning, you could run the conservative line just up right at the bottom of the corners and be just fine. But as your tires started to wear out, that pushing on exit just got so extreme that I had no choice but to run the diamond line, which at Dover is very common. Essentially, you come in about, not at the very bottom, but maybe a car length or 2 from the bottom. You let it push up the track, not much, just enough to, raise it to about mid-track, maybe a little bit higher. And then you lightly let the gas off or press the brake pedal slightly, and the car dips down, and it gives you a great straightaway launch because you position your car toward the very bottom of 2 and 4. Gives you great launch speed. You don't have to wait for the throttle as your car pushes on the exit. And it seems to be the preferred way on these long runs.
And we saw right there, great launch off of the turn 4 there by Lane Allen, Richie Coy, and Chuck Sweeting. They gained a lot of ground there on Sherwood Williford. I'm not sure if he had a mishap there on the way that he entered that 3 and 4 last lap, but they were able to get a great launch off of that turn, as you were mentioning there. And even in the ARCA race, I was watching your brother race the ARCA race, and towards the end of that race, the laps were winding down and the tire wear started going, and touched the wall a couple of times, was able to hold his position, but he went from having about a 1.5 second lead to fighting on the last lap to keep it going. So these tire wear can happen pretty quick here, and it'll change the game real quick. You'll go from, as we saw right there, Sherwood Wilford was in the lead and not seeing his tires, but just that quick, just a little mishap off of 4, and they're right up on you.
Yeah, it's very common to see at Dover, and as this run continues to be green flag longer and longer, these guys will get more spaced out as they. Some people like to scream early, "Hey, I need new tires," and the crew's like, "All right, come on in," and they'll change tires. And some people are like, "You know what? I've been patient. We're gonna wait until this full fuel cycle goes through, and then we'll make a pit." And then as soon as that happens, you're gonna see these guys get really spaced out, and it's very common for Dover, especially in the sim racing world, where strategies are just all over the place. It's unpredictable of what exactly is going to happen. See right now, Richie's putting some excellent pressure once again on that 14. He's kind of just been there. He's waiting for Lane Allen to make that mistake. So far, Lane's been pretty strong. As you kind of see what I was describing about 5 laps ago, is you're going to see him entering about, one car length up. He shoots up the track, and you're going to see that car dip down right next to that apron transition, right before the exit of the corner. It gives him that good launch, and it keeps Richie from passing him.
And Richie's been every lap, he's just getting closer and closer too as they're coming off of the exits here. So Richie's got that thing kind of hitting pretty good off the exit, but we see Lane there. He's got that momentum on the side, but driving in deep though, Richie Coy is, and getting right on the back of Lane, but kind of like you were mentioning, you just got that diamond up, go up and get a good run off. But this is a good little battle, Jeremy. We see looking on the inside, Chuck Sweeting right there. It's kind of these 4 guys battling out as you're got a little battle for 5th place as well with Josh Johnson and Brandon Elder. They're battling for that top 5, but these 4 guys are going at it for the lead.
Watching that roof camera from Richie Coy kind of really shows all the lines possible. Richie running the bottom, Lane's running that up and down, and Sherwood somewhere in between. And we're seeing Mr. Johnson there in that 57, getting a little bit of pressure from Brandon Elder in the 51, trying to make a move up through the field right now, and you put some really good pressure right now, and actually going to make that pass here, or at least try to on the exit of turn number 4. Looks like he's going to clear him, no problem. Looked like 57. Mr. Josh Johnson just pushed up a little too heavy there on exit, allowed 51 to Brandon Elder to say, "That spot is mine." And that's going to move him, I do believe, into the top 5 in 5th place.
Yeah, don't mind me coming through. Going to take that 5th place position, which is nice seeing Brandon Elder running top 5. Well, we mentioned he's been having speed this last month. Just bad luck in the race, but so far so good. Running 5th place right now. See if he can keep it up all night and come home with the top 5. But we still see a battle here. Sherwood pulled out a little bit on these guys, and as we see here on their TV, Richie Coy's still looking to get around Wayne Allen, making that move every time they get an opportunity to look on the inside. Like we mentioned, getting closer and closer, but that runoff for Wayne Allen is just keeping him at bay. We see Truck getting a run here on Richie, but he's not pushing the issue. We're about 20% through this race right now, so plenty of time left, and we'll see what happens. And you see this right here, Jeremy, this Ally overpass that they're getting ready to go under. That is, if I can ever get tickets to sit there and watch a race from up there, that would be one of my goals, because that would be an awesome place to watch. I've seen some videos up there where they've done some interviews, and that's one of the best seats I think in all of NASCAR, where you're right over the track.
I'm with you on that one. I really want to be on that overpass during any event. 51 got real loose there. He did save it, no problem. But yeah, going what you said, that's an awesome seat, or lack of seat rather, just a great view of the track. I don't think there's any other track in my head that I can know of where you can participate while standing directly above the cars as they go underneath you. Like, it's really a one-of-a-kind cool thing. As you see the 19 looking one more time, he's getting real close to getting to that 14. 14 actually wobbled a little bit on turn number 2. Almost opened the door. 19 thought twice of it, though, and he's going to hang tight. But it did actually bring him back, because he had to check up because of it. And now he's going to dive it deep into one again, and then he's trying that diamond line with the 14 this time. It looks like it's working for him as he gets another great launch off of 2 with Snuff. He's going to kind of hang back again. See him lift a little bit there. Great little roof shot here. That free-floating camera from our producer, Dustin. Shout out to him for all these angles. Pretty cool angle he's got here as well.
And you can just see how much deeper that Richie's driving it down to the corner. And they're both, like you mentioned, getting that diamond shape and getting the run off. And I think Richie saw how much Lane was gaining on him, and he's starting to incorporate off of off of his exit here, but he can just drive it down the corner so much deeper than Wayne can in turn 1 and 2. And that's what's giving him that advantage to have an opportunity to try and get him on the backstretch. We see a nice little run here, a little wobble to us. That's going to let Wayne Allen creep back away, but he's trying. And Brandon Elder, Jeremy, he's sitting at this spot. He's slowly starting to move up towards these guys too as they're battling it out. So he's trying to make it a 5-car pack here for this top spot.
Yeah, he really is, and he's got some speed, but he's got a little bit of a gap to clear, about just over a second there before he gets up to Chuck Sweeting, who's currently in 4th. And we're seeing this fluctuation too from Sherwood Williford, where he falls back to about 2 car lengths on the 14, and then he spaced himself out about 3 or 4 car lengths, and then he's just back and forth with it. So right now he's about 2 car lengths again from the 14. It wouldn't surprise me to see him maybe move back forward. But that number 33, though, the solo driver on his team in Patriot Racing, that with Timothy Morris on his door there, he won last week, and he's definitely put on a strong performance to try to get this done this week. But I think, Ken, while they're kind of racing out here, I think I want to kick it over to Nerd Enhanced Racing Decibels, aka called Nerd, since they're all bundled up. I think it's a great time to showcase the next gen sounds. So we'll be back with the short minute or two. Just go ahead and enjoy the sounds of these cars. All right, just as we're kicking it back off from that Nerd Enhanced Racing Decibels, caution is out on the raceway. It looks like lap number 56. The number 51 of Brandon Elder self-spins off the exit of turn number 2, tagged the apron when he was diamonding the corner, caused him to push up the track, get loose, and plow the outside wall about center on the backstretch. Thankfully, he didn't take care of anybody else, but man, oh man, that car was on fire, Ken, and he was in 5th place, about to take over 4th. We see him right now just disconnect from the raceway. You see the wreck happening once again. It's huge. That was big. We were talking about Brandon Elder being really dominant, coming into this race about, the past month or so, just finding his speed, and unfortunately just found too much grip there, which is kind of weird to say. Came down the track, tagged that apron, threw himself into that wall. Heavy damage. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to join back onto the surface. And actually, speaking of which, yeah, he got in that tow right now, so it's about a 2 or 3 minute tow before the crew can even service that machine. But heavy damage to his front end there.
You were mentioning it too during that break that he had the speed and he was coming, making moves, and that the bad luck just jumped back up and got him. Jeremy, we mentioned that he was having a great run. Bad luck strikes him, and there it is again. Miles this time just kind of said, "Come here, let me just pull you into this wall."
Chat out from Twitch here. The 51 is coming, and then ate his own words and said, "Damn, I shouldn't have said anything." Sometimes, Skid Mark, that's the way it is. That's the way it is out here in the sim world, or at any world for that matter. You put the jinx, put the curse out there, and you don't have to say it to him directly, but it's in the air. And then, yeah, we do it over here all the time at Nerditudes, and we know how that is. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and this time 51 clearly showed did not work. That sucks though, because we were rooting for him too, man. So maybe next week at Darlington, make him recover and get himself up there into the podium. But tough break there for the 51.
And this is exactly what Richie Coy wanted. We saw him sitting there riding around in third place, battling Wayne Allen for that second spot for that whole run there since they had that restart. And now we have a caution. Good amount of laps on these tires. Let's come in and get him done, get some damage fixed. So he came down, got the damage fixed as long as he could until the pace car came around and was on the front stretch, and he went ahead and got out. So got some damage fixed. I'm not sure if he got it all or if he still got a little bit left, but you can still see it's pushed in a little bit, but it's definitely going to be better than what it was.
Quick mention too, it looks like Mr. James Wallace at 67 will be your hashtag Get a Grip Martin Sports lucky driver recipient. So Mr. James Wallace is going to get his lap back. I think he's back down to just one, though he's taking an extended pit stop at the same time. So he's using the extra time to get some extra damage taken care of, but looks like he's back to at least one lap down. It's your first Lucky Dog Reward winner this evening on your third caution on lap 56.
He's gone.
Yeah, and looks like he's gone, so he gets the reward and then parks it. So I guess
too much grip.
Too much grip. I don't think you can have that at Dover, Mr. Pashiba. That was a good play there.
Yeah, I saw all that. All of a sudden, car gone, box gone. I'm like, okay, I think he's gone. That's going to be another one out there, Jeremy. That's going to kind of bring this field down. If Brandon Elder can't get back out there, I think we're going to have about 12 running out here not even on the lead lap. We're going to have 11 on the lead lap and 12 total out on the track. And then Brandon can get out there. That'll put us up to 13. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, 17 total running. Steve Loomis finally comes back onto the racing surface, 48 laps down. And him and the 91 are, already trying to figure out where they're trying to be on the racetrack here, pushing each other down the track a little bit. They kind of get that figured out, but these guys need some nerd focus to stay focused. Quick shout out before the green flag here, nerdfocus.com. Find your drink sugar-free or the regular green label. Get yourself some super focus. We got still another 140 laps to get this race done, so these drivers need all the focus they can get at the Monster Mile. So once again, nerdfocus.com, 10% off. It's new Super Nerd at checkout. 33, Sherwood Williford taking the way over Lane Allen this time here. Restart is underway for the second time this evening. 33 and the 75 get a good launch on the bottom. Looks like the 33 is able to clear the 14 as he shoves way up the racing surface. 75 trying to get a good launch to clear the 14. Looks like they're going to have to duke it out side by side for just a little longer. And actually, the 75 gets a great launch even to clear the 33. New race leader, that 75 Gator Racing Chevrolet, Chuck Sweeting.
Drove it in there. Great drive into that corner, Jeremy, to take that lead away. And he brought Josh Johnson with him. They got a 2-for-1 there on Wayne Allen. That's going to put Sherwood back in the third place. Or not Wayne Allen. Sorry, they got it on Sherwood Wilford. That's going to put him back in third place, right in front of Wayne Allen, with Ryan Hedrick, Jeremy, sitting right there in fifth place. Richie Coy's, he started in eighth place as well, so he's not too far back from these guys. You see him on the outside right now, Kevin Rupert. He's trying to make his way around there. I think he's going to take that spot here, put him in sixth place, right behind Ryan Hedrick. So we're going to have some battling going on all the way up through here.
Richie Coy had that damage on that nose repaired to the best they could. You still see some paint worn off on that nose, but yeah, that puts him right behind the second place in points, Mr. Ryan Hedrick, 13 points out starting this event. Right now, only one spot ahead of the 19. So Ryan Hedrick, this is your time to shine, to see what you can't do to keep yourself in front of that 19, because we know that 19's fast, and if he can get around these guys, he's going to be taking off. But right now, he's got some work to do. Currently sitting in sixth place, looking just to the inside of now your top five, Ryan Hedrick.
And Chuck's just, kind of pulling on these guys. He was waiting for his opportunity. He's got a clean car, clean track in front of him. Been, good on these restarts all night. So he's kind of putting out to about a half a second lead over Josh Johnson, that second place. We see a couple little battles here. Looks like we're going to have Richie Coy. He's going around Ryan Hedrick there, as we see on Nerd TV. And he's going to bring Kevin Rupert with him as well. So that's going to 2 for 1 there on Ryan Hedrick. He's going to lose 2 spots, and that's going to drop him back down to 7th place.
Ryan Hedrick in that DraftKings Camaro actually, I think, slightly scraped the wall off the exit of turn number 2. I do see it there in his right front fender, has some damage. He hit the wall off exit turn 2 last time by, allowed that 19 to propel forward, and that number 1 Kevin Rupert to take advantage, open that door wide open, took that spot. It's going to drop Ryan Hedrick now to 7th place. Richie Coy inside of the top 5 as he's working to get that ground made up and resume where he left off in the beginning of the race.
Then he's right behind Wayne Allen, who he was battling on that last green flag run for the longest time. So he's back to where he was, sitting in one spot back though, but he's right behind Wayne Allen, trying to get in that 4th position, and he's got a little bit better car now, Jeremy, so I wouldn't be surprised if he can get around him a little bit easier this time. But as we see that they're both diamonding it off, they're kind of all diamonding it off, but those two are kind of mirroring each other as they're going through 1 and 2, heading 3 and 4. Richie's still looking on the inside though here of Lane, every chance that he gets off of 2.
Yeah, these guys are just doing the same exact thing for the past 50 laps there, as Lane Allen finally just let the 19 by for the first time in a very long time, as they kind of rode nose to tail forever. And once again, Kevin Rupert's trying to get a gift given to him. This time that door was closed hard by the number 14, does not take that spot. Looks like Richie Coy will take 4th, and Lane Allen's going to drop single file back to 5th place. Yeah,
he saw how they were coming through the field, and Lane said, I'm going to let Richie go by here. I know he's faster than me, but I'm not going to let anyone else go. And Richie's setting his sights here on that 3rd spot with Sherwood right in front of him. As we see Ryan Hedrick, Jeremy, he's falling back even more. Looks like the 4 of Chad Lang's going to go around him. He's got the 12 right there, Matthew Gearinger, who's looking to go around him as well. That's going to still keep him in the top 10 if he gets around him, but he's dropping back in a hurry, and I'm not sure if he's just kind of taking it easy when he touched that wall and said, well, we got more than half this race done. Let me just relax. But that's right there, as we see on their TV. He's going to be back in 10th place, and as we were watching all this, Richie Coy picked off another one, Jeremy. Top 3 now for Richie Coy. He's making his way up there.
Sherwood Williford released the number 19, gave him the 3rd spot. It's going to move that 33, who's led the most laps so far tonight, back to 4th place. Lane Allen now about 2 car lengths away from the 33, so it looks like the track's changed against his favor, or maybe tried making a setup change that's not really working out for him. But either way, the 33 is running a little more tighter than what it looks like from previous. He got really tight there in 4. It's going to allow that 14 to come right to him. Does not make the move this time, but I'm seeing this 33 go through these corners, and that car is just not rotating the way it was. So it's no surprise really to see him fall back here as Dover. If you're tight, you're in for a long night.
Yeah, that's not fun, because then you're just fighting coming off the wall, trying not to hit the wall every chance all you get off of 2 and off of 4 there. So it's an exhausting night too at that point too, because you're just fighting the car the whole race. And we saw Josh Johnson there on this last lap. He got a little sideways, lost some time there, and Richie enjoyed that because he's going to try and reel him in a little more. It was in 3 and 4 as we see Richie's gained some more ground. You can see Josh running a little bit higher groove there. Kept it straight on that one, but he's not getting that launch off that he needs off of 4. So it looks like Josh is just trying to find the groove that's fitting him best for his car right now.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely looks like it for sure. I'm actually kind of glad to see that 57 up there in second place. You see him right now entering turn number 3. Chuck Sweeting's kind of putting a beating on him right now as far as the time goes, just over 0.6 of a second ahead of him, which looks a lot longer in time at this track just because they're not, going the close to 200 miles an hour. They're doing 170, 150, 140 in the corners. So, 0.6 is a lot longer time away from these guys. And he's actually extended that lead by over 0.2 this time, that last time by rather. Chuck Sweeting just early on right now, he must have found something with this team because that setup is actually moving really fast. But then 19 though, he's getting to the back bumper of that Josh Johnson Chevrolet, and if he gets clear of him, it's on from there.
Yeah, if he can get around Josh and get up there, we'll see if he can run him down. Been watching the lap times between Richie and Chuck, and Richie's not running. He's getting closer to Josh here, so we'll see. He's going to start switching up his run, and hopefully he doesn't lose too much time on Chuck. But that's what Richie needed. Richie now sees that his car can do it. He has a fast car. He didn't lose any time there on that lap to Chuck, as he's going on the inside here of Josh Johnson. Don't know if he's going to have the speed. He is not. Josh is going to still maintain it, but we saw Richie. He's going to drive it down deep in the turn 3 and 4. We know he's been doing that all day. Come up a little bit. He's going to get that run off. Squeeze right in front of him. He's going to take second spot, and he's going to be sitting back about 1.3 on Chuck, Jeremy. So let's see if he can reel him in at all.
Yep, 1.384 back that last time by. It also allows the 33 of Sherwood Williford to take the spot away from that 57 Josh Johnson. So he's going to fall back to fourth, potentially fifth here. Yep, as the 14 now goes around, that 57 starting to look really tight as he now drops to fifth.
Yeah, looks like that lap Richie lost some ground on Chuck, so Chuck's just, he's found that line. He's got that groove going on, so it'll be tough. But these 6 drivers right here, Jeremy, they're all keeping it close with each other. Richie's kind of pulling a little bit on them, but those other ones, they're gapped out pretty evenly here. So see what these guys do. And a little bit behind them, they got another pack of 3 there. They're kind of racing it out for that spot in the back there between Ryan Hedrick, Matthew Uringer, and Chad Lang. And then one other mention, Kenneth Scholes. We saw that hard impact on that first lap, and he's still 1 lap down, Jeremy, running in 12th. So even with that hard of an impact, he's still out here making laps and not losing laps.
Literally blows my mind to see him only 1 lap down with that amount of damage. That car looks like a modified. No nose, no rear, just all bumper bar. Aerodynamics are at a minimum, and that thing is only 1 lap down. You had me fooled if you had told me that, and I wasn't watching this event. So, for what it's worth, I mean, he's doing a hell of a job keeping that thing up to speed. Really surprised when he's able to keep speed, for that matter. All that heavy impact that he had early on, all that damage repaired, able to do it. So, that's a good job by his crew to get that thing up and running at top speed.
Yeah, Chuck's running 23.7 around here, and Kenneth Schultz has been averaging about a 24.2. So he is losing half a second a lap on our race leader Chuck Sweeting, but that's still impressive. He's only half a second slower than the leader with, like you said, basically a modified out here, no front, no rear, nothing like that, and still keeping up. And Chuck's made his way through some more lap traffic, it looks like, as well. So some of these guys are already laps down, and some of them are going to be coming up on it, but it looks like he's getting through no problem. Richie's going to try and fight his way through as well, and looks like I think he got around him as well, no problem. So lap traffic playing a little bit of a role.
Yeah, it's that tricky part of the race where you just find lap cars every few laps here and there, just kind of scattered out. So, for the most part, it's a pretty easy thing to do, but you get that one guy who gets loose or something, and especially at Dover, not everything's easy here. So you got to make sure you get around all those lap guys easy. But, at Full Throttle Sim Racing, these guys are pretty respectful around each other, especially if they know they're lapped down and not able to compete. So it all plays into that factor. Richie Coy, past couple laps, is able to make up 0.3 of a second over that 75 Chuck Sweeting. So we might be able to, or might see now that shift there in speed and see Richie Coy maybe take that charge.
And a big thing is when you come up on these lap cars, where you're going to meet these lap cars, because like we just saw right there on your TV, these guys, they kind of met them there in the corner. Sherwood and Lane might have lost their run off, but Richie gained on him perfectly, was able to get through the corner the way he liked, get the launch off the corner, didn't lose much time. That's the way to get around. That's the way to get around these lap cars is if you can get it timed perfectly, which we know you're not trying to do it, but if it does, it works out great. And just hope they can get out of your way so you don't lose much time. As we see right there, just as you can see, the 57 just couldn't get that run off that he wanted because the 44 is up there, and he's out of the way. He's just not letting him complete the run that he wants. So it just kind of depends on when you meet him, and he's going to have the same issue here with Wayne, but he'll get that run off that he needs.
And quick shout out too, speaking of the point system and how we're down to 2.5 races left here. Quick shout out to Sim Racing Points. You see their new logo there right now, currently on the bottom right hand side of your screen, and now they're over there on the left hand side. It's an all-inclusive points management system that allows full customization of all your points, all your race running orders, everything and anything you need to display on your website to show off your drivers in your league. This software is the place to go and to use. So you're going to go to simracingpoints.com, look over all their stuff. And if you go to fullthrottlesimracing.net, you go to their standing page or their results, you see what that software is capable of. It's quite impressive. Once again, simracingpoints.com. In that bottom right side, yes, that is my car on display. Thank you for that, Mr. Dustin. But yeah, awesome website, awesome software. Go check them out, simracingpoints.com. We're just outside that halfway point of this race, Ken. We're on lap number 92 this time by as Chuck Sweeting goes around the front stretch. Still maintaining a 1.4 second advantage over Richie Coy at this point. So after that little 0.3 of a second gain, he lost it, and they just been stalemating each other.
Yeah, it's kind of broke. Like you said, it was gained a little bit, lost a little bit, and last couple of laps just kind of staying even. So they might have had the tire wear in the way that they have, and it just all depends on who's going to make the better run and if there's any mistakes that's going to be made. And Chuck has the open air and no one really competing with him right now, where Richie's got Sherwood right there behind him. I mean, he's just under half a second back from him, but he's there. He can see him. So that's going to put a little bit on you as well. So Chuck's definitely in the spot to be. Plenty of time left. I mean, we're about 6 laps away from halfway. Plenty of time left. And there's just, there's going to be some more battles here. So we'll see how this thing plays out. But we saw him come down pit road with that last caution, I think around lap 54, 53, 54, somewhere around there. So almost sitting about 50 laps of old tires on here. So it's definitely going to start to play a factor. And big run there by 37.
Yeah, I was going to say my favorite little battle right now is the 57, the number 1, and the 37. Brian Dublin in that purple and black machine. You see him right now with the roof camera here just behind that number 1. This is actually a pretty good battle here as the 37 got loose. He actually made a really strong run there in turn 2. Just got a little loose, was unable to hold that momentum. He's going to have to try again here in the next couple corners, see if he can redo what he just created in turn 2 there. But these guys for the past few laps have been duking it out quite intensely. A little spaced out this time around, but we're going to see Brian Dublin once again try to take over turn 2. He looks pretty strong here. It's a good run again, but just a little wiggle. Once again, that car is starting to slide around on him and causing a little bit of caution on that 37 to make a clean pass on the 1.
And that little wiggle just eats up all that ground gained. I mean, you can see the run that he gets right there alone. Just gets a great run, and then just that little bit of wiggle, bobble coming down the track there, whatever it is that happens with him coming off the corner. As you can see, just right on the bottom. Great run there as he's getting off. If he can just hold that, but he loses that little bit of that momentum there, but he gained it on that last one as he's finding his way around here. He just wants to get around these guys. You can definitely see that.
Yeah, if there's a song playing on his radio right now, it's just a little wiggle.
Wiggle with it.
Yeah, just a little jiggy wiggle went off the corner there. But, he needs to fix that up to be able to make that pass. But, yeah, this battle right now is still pretty good right now. Everybody else is really spaced out. Not too much action on the track. I'm really surprised, speaking of which, I expected that the racing was pretty good. That last green flag run, they were so close. A lot of the cars were that I didn't expect this kind of gap that they have this time around. But that kind of plays with strategies, this and that. We know like the 19 had to fix some damage, so he had to pass some cars, kind of shuffled some things. Ryan Hedrick had that damage, so he kind of shuffled back outside of the mix of drivers, and It just really leaves the 57, 1, and 37 right now. We still got the action coverage as they're going into turn number 1 on lap 100, so we're just at halfway. And I think this is a great time to give visual thank you to all of our sponsors out there in the Nerditudes world. So we're going to go side-by-side action at Dover, Delaware. We'll be right back in just a few short messages.
Are you ready to chase the moonlight? Community-based and talent-driven, Moonlight Speed Concepts has what you need to take your iRacing experience to the next level. Founded by passionate owners that care about the community and housing some of the top setup builders and drivers on the platform, Moonlight Speed Concepts offers custom paints, driver coaching, and setups for dirt, asphalt short track racing, and eNASCAR competition. Partnered with top brands in both real world and simulation. Follow us on Facebook or visit moonlightspeed.com and find out why these businesses chase the moonlight and why you should too. Moonlight Speed Concept, where all we chase is moonlight.
Big thank you to all of our sponsors out there once again. Back to full screen coverage here at Full Throttle Sim Racing, and Kenny, things starting to pick up here. Richie Coy is only to 3/10 back of Chuck Sweeting, and then Lane Allen's actually matching his speed just underneath 1 second. So, you know, we're gonna have a good battle for the lead here real shortly.
Yeah, it looks like I'm not sure if Chuck's having that tire wear that we mentioned or what's going on, but Richie has definitely closed the gap. We see Chuck ran a 23.97 that last wrap, with Richie Coy running a 23.90, so almost a 10th faster there as we see him gaining on it, and got lost a little speed there coming off of 4, but he's definitely running them down. And you mentioned it, Lane Allen right behind him, he ran a 23.94, so a little bit faster than Chuck as well, but a little bit off of Richie, but they're coming for him.
Looks like Richie's just not as good whenever there's air taken off his nose. We know we had that nose damage early on from the 17 Steve Loomis with whatever that kind of event was, but it looks like he got to about 3/10 off the back of Chuck Sweeting, and then after then he's just been kind of sitting there. He is not able to make any moves. Looks like the car's pushing up a little bit more. So I think, I don't know if it's the diffuser part of the airflow or if it's just the air not being there for the downforce in general, but whatever it is, it's caused Richie to kind of pause temporarily. And Lane Allen, too, for that matter. He's been 9/10 back for the past few laps, so things kind of got a little stagnant after they made that little push here, but they're still just a few car lengths away from each other.
Yeah, and he's, gaining a little bit, losing a little bit, and that right there, that lap car, looks like he might have slowed up Lane Allen just a touch. I think it's the 44, Chris Beck there. Richie was able to get around no problem, so was Chuck, so that kind of kept them even. But yeah, he gained a 10th last time, Jeremy, and he's reeling them in. But you're correct. I think as soon as he gets within about the distance he's at now, about that 3/10 distance, just about 5 car lengths back, he just hits a wall and can't go any further. As we see right here, he didn't gain or lose anything on that last lap.
And we know his car's fast. He was working on him for about 20 straight laps of just reeling him in slowly but surely. And he's finally here, and he's just kind of sitting put. Though he makes a great drive into turn number 3 that time. Looks like he gains a little bit of time, but that exit just looks really tight there to check up. Almost hit that wall. It's going to keep him within 3/10 once again this time.
And we've seen the Richie and Chuck show quite a few times this season, too, where those two have been running up front and pulling on everybody. You got Lane that's kind of trying to break up the party. Without him, I mean, you're sitting 3 seconds back to Sherwood in 4th place. So we've seen this multiple times with these two going at it, and both of them coming out on top. It just depends on who kind of has the better run towards the end or doesn't get caught up in any trouble. Richie there was able to gain some ground on that last one, gained another 10th, so he's closing the gap, Jeremy. He's down to just under 3/10 on Chuck Sweeting here, and we talked about when he hit that wall there, but these last couple of laps, I think he's starting to drive through that wall.
And it looks like he's finally kind of broke through. Lane Allen's kind of falling back a 10th here and there. So right now it should be just a 2-car battle. But yeah, that number 19 is same exact lap time, just kind of matched the 75 that time. Looks like he gets a really good drive though in the center of 1 and 2 this time. So we might see that shift here once again where he makes that final push through that wall, as you mentioned, to get the job done. And also, I'm sure Chuck Sweeting's looking in that mirror just a little more than what he was about 10 laps ago. I'm sure that's not helping any cause. And as I say that, yeah, he moves it back to 3/10 that lap.
Yeah, they're kind of just bouncing around, and we saw that earlier as well when he was trying to make that. And they were making that run there on Lane, and they kind of stayed about even. So the tire wear, once it starts playing a factor, which it already is obviously, but more and more as the laps come on, we lost a lot of ground there. It looks like Richie, yeah, he lost a couple of tenths there as well on that last one. So it just kind of depends on these laps. We mentioned it before. One little mishap, you can lose 2 tenths, or you can gain two tenths on someone pretty quick. Is right here on this lap, looks like he's gaining it back some as well. So this track, just the factor of what's his tire wear, it's just going to play so many different strategies and so many different grooves and lines that you're trying to run. So it's an exciting race, and we still got 80 more laps of this to go, and I'm ready for all of it.
We have a special person out here on the stream watching on the Twitch world. We got Mr. Brandon Elder himself from that 51 joining the chat, saying he just ran out of talent. He said it was a beast to drive after 45 laps, but then off of 2 it just got real sideways until he clipped the apron and couldn't save it. But he's like, oh well, move on to the next one, which you got Darlington and Kansas to find yourself a podium, and I'll be rooting for you in the final 2 races. But yeah, super unfortunate that you were involved in that wreck. Tough to see because you were moving really strong there up through, coming up to 4th place before that wreck.
Yeah, and showed speed, like we mentioned a couple of different times as of late in the last month. Practice times, qualifying times, everything's been up to speed, and just unfortunate on the luck. So we enjoy that you're following along and watching the broadcast, but we hate that we're not watching out there on the track. So looking forward to seeing you back next week at Darlington, and busting out some lap times and as Jeremy said, maybe get you a podium before the season ends. But thanks for tuning in, and as we're kind of watching this, it looks like Chuck Sweeting's pulled back a little bit more on Richie Coy. These two are just kind of keeping even, Jeremy. I've been watching it. He gained a 10th with the 10th, gained a 10th with the 10th. So I think that's how we're going to be kind of looking with these two. And it's hard to tell. I don't know if a green flag run's going to be good for Richie or a pit stop because of the restart. It just depends on what that car can do on the start, because we saw it before the damage not very good on the start. And on this last one, he was sitting back in 8th, so it wasn't a good tell to see how much he was able to get off the launch on that restart.
Typically, too, from Fury Motorsports, I know when they work together, they like to pit early. And I think in this case, if you're kind of struggling behind someone in the air like this, I think when you make your green flag stop, you're going to want to come down just a little bit earlier than Chuck to try to, get that fresh air on your nose to make that car drive as best as it can. So that might be something he's thinking about here as they, get to that fuel mileage points where, okay, I can make my pit stop and be clear. It could be something that to be watching out for. I know Chuck Sweeting in that Gator Racing Chevrolet he likes to extend it out as much as he can sometimes. So this might be an opportunity where Richie can maybe play the cards in his favor this time and get a good stop and maybe get his car out back to the lead and on some fresh air.
We saw that strategy taking place on Wednesday too, as well, with many different pit strategies going on and stretching the fuel mileage and making it on one pit stop or making it on 2 pit stops. So ultimately, one was the advantage on that one. So we'll see where these guys take it over. And Richie Coy's gaining some ground again. He's back to 2/10. I think this is about the closest he's been, Jeremy. He's right there. He's within a car length of Chuck Sweeting as they're heading off a 2. Great run. He's going to be looking on the inside of Chuck Sweeting as they're going to head down to 3 and 4, see if he can make the pass. And you know what? He's right side by side of that 75 Gator Racing, and he looks like he will complete this pass coming off of 4. Great run. Richie Coy back in the lead after 129 laps.
Yep, Chuck Sweeting went high, gave him the spot. Realized there's still plenty of time out there. Why try to race him for this long? So gave the spot up to him. Number 19, Richie Coy, back to the race lead. And this is good, man. This is good for his points. Ryan Hendrick's still sitting in 9th place. So, in 9 spots difference now. And, Richie Coy's already got that 13-point advantage heading into this race. So that's going to make things really challenging if they kind of finish out this way heading into the final 2 races.
Yeah, and we saw Ryan was sitting there, I think, 5th or 6th, and then kind of fell back to that 9th and 10th place position and just kind of been sitting there. He's got his teammate right behind him in the 37 of Brian Dubois, and then his other teammate a couple spots ahead of him, Josh Johnson, in the 57 there. So he's got some places to go. Chad Lang, he's sitting right in front of him. That's for 8th spot, so he can gain some ground on these guys, but that's not what Ryan wanted to see. It's unfortunate to see what happened with Richie on that under that yellow, but Ryan was probably enjoying it with the points battle that he's having. But once Richie got back out front, that's definitely not what Ryan wanted to see.
Yeah, and he also hit the wall too, me and Ryan Hendrick, shortly after, so it kind of dampened his car from being an optimal performance. But thankfully Richie was able to get that thing repaired. His crew did, and back out there and leading laps once again. It took 100 laps to get back there, but he finally made it, and that's all that matters, is getting there before the thing's all said and done. So he passed his teammate there on the inside, that being Tony Solari. That's going to drop him 2 laps down, I do believe. And Chuck Sweeting hasn't given up, though. He's still only 2/10. As you see right now on Nerd TV, the 57, Josh Johnson, making a green flag stop. One of those guys 1 lap down right now, at least scored on the leaderboard. Making this probably one of potentially, no, there's got to be, they might be able to get done one more stop. I know those Xfinity cars, they run them 50% fuel, and I was able to get about 40-ish laps out of that thing. So, 100% fuel, this might be the last stop we see.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing. It might be the last stop. You see his teammate 37 there, Brian Dubois. He's on pit road. Yeah, Josh Johnson, I think he was running 7th place when he came down. So he started the trend. The 37's on the 14 lane now and walking it up as he's coming on the pit road. Hopefully he's not going to get a speeding penalty. So it looks like the 57 of Josh Johnson starting a trend here where everyone's going to start dipping down because this pit stop, I believe, like you mentioned, it could be the last one.
Yeah, we see Lane Allen, 4th place right now in the race, and gets woed down just in time. I think he was able to do it. I don't know. It's hard to tell. We'll see what happens if he gets back on the race surface and has to come back down for a hold. If so, that's a 40-second hold. It's really tough to serve, especially at a track like Dover where you go 2 laps down when you try to hold like that. We see 33, Sherwood Williford, also on pit road.
Your points leader there sitting, coming down pit road, and you mentioned that 40-second wait. I think he got tagged, Jeremy, as we're seeing here on Nerd TV. He is not moving after that Jack dropped on that left side, I think he's going to get docked. Like you said, that's 2 laps in a hurry, and wow, that's unfortunate for Lane Allen. Great run tonight. Was sitting in 3rd place, keeping up with these guys at the front, and just too fast coming in.
That's the hardest bullet to bite there. You know, you you try to gain a 10th entering pit road, and then in turn you lose 2 full laps. So risk versus reward, and that was a very small risk to take to try to advance anything you can in the pit road side of things, and just drove it a little too hard. And 42nd hold, you see him finally coming back onto the track. He has finally been released, and you see 91 right now. Kenneth Scholes on pit road making his stop in that modified yellow and red. Was a Ford. You can't tell what it is at this point, but it's making its pit stop, and that's just going to leave a few more drivers left, really to ring out the remaining people. 6 on the lead lap. Last person in line, Ryan Hedrick in that 47. He might be one of those guys who want to come down just a little bit early to fix that right front nose damage. We'll see. Actually, he's getting a little bit loose here as I kick it over to his screen, but he's about what, 10 car lengths away from being a lap down by Richie Coy.
Yeah, just and without the pit stop too. So that it's such a hard call, Jeremy, too, to see when you need to come down. I mean, he's staying out. He's the last one here on the lead lap, but he's got Richie right there, and that might be one of the things where I'm like, you know what? Let me come down. Let me get some fresh tires. We're gonna take this thing out to the end. I gotta give way to these leaders. Let me see if I can get my lap back before with some fresh tires, as he's gonna actually slide up there. I think he was trying to get out of the way down low, but then slid up in front of him there. We see the ones coming on pit road. Kevin Rupert, he's gonna give up that 3rd place position, as we see Richie Coy going around that 47 there of Ryan Hedrick. That's gonna put him a lap down. So if I was Ryan, though, I think I might be coming in and trying to get that lap back while I have some fresh tires underneath me.
Yep, that number 1 of Gladiators of Racing, Kevin Rupert, coming down pit road for his final green flag stop of this evening. Looks like he had a pretty clean entry there, getting down the speed. Really smooth. That's how you get that job done right there. And Ryan Hedrick also coming down pit road as well. And that number 47, just talked about him making that stop. He did do so. We got a couple more guys that are left to go. We got Richie Coy, Chuck Sweeting, Chad Lang, and Matthew Geringer. All 4 of them are left to come down, and so far this time by, it looks like no takers.
Yeah, and right here, as we see on their TV, Chuck was letting Brian go by in the last lap here, and Brian tried to make a pass there on 2, got a little bit squirrely and had to check it up and kept it close with those 2, and Chuck just wouldn't let him go back by because he has that fresher tires on there. And Chuck's got the fast car, but definitely with those fresher tires, you can see Brian can just get a little bit more. So almost had a little unfortunate accident there with them coming off for 2 as he's letting them go by, but no harm, no foul there. So move on, and we see Richie Coy still making a pass here. He's going to put Chad Lang, Jeremy, who's running in 3rd spot right now. That's going to put him a lap down, and we're just going to have Richie and Chuck here before they make their pit stops rolling around on the lead lap.
Yeah, I mean, there might be 7 or 8 cars going back to the on the lead lap when these guys fully cycle through. Lane Allen was one of the guys that got hit by a penalty there, so it kind of knocked out some guy, or at least one person away from the lead lap. How long do they extend it? We got 56 laps to go in this event.
75 coming in this time.
75 looks like he is coming in this time, so that's going to leave Richie Coy and Chad Lang as your only 2 guys really to not come in. Richie, or Chuck rather, just way too fast entering pit road, probably going to get tagged. And actually, he disconnected right after that.
What?
His car didn't even go to a stop. It just was rolling and then disappeared. So that super weird. That's twice or 3 times now we've seen something weird like this go on.
That's terrible for Chuck there. I'm not sure what happened. Like you said, he didn't even make a stop, and he was already gone. Did he just come on? Oh yeah, he was moving on pit road. He tried to walk it up, and I'm wondering if he just said, forget this, and all that forward out of this thing, or what, and just once he had that penalty said, I'm done with this, or what was going on. But Jeremy, we've had a couple weird incidents happen tonight as we see Richie Coy, your leader here, come down pit road. He's got all these cars a lap down, 2 laps down, 3 laps down, so we'll see where this is going to cycle through. But man, what an unfortunate event there with Chuck Sweeting.
Yeah, 2 plus 2 does equal 4 sometimes, and I think Chuck Sweeting definitely alt F4'd as you guys mentioned it. So that's exactly what it looks like on my end, but we truly won't know. But all fingers point to that, anyways. But that's only gonna leave about 5 cards, I think, on the lead lap. Once everything cycles through here, we'll find out for sure in the next lap. But you see Chad Lang also. He's coming off the pit road rather. So that does cycle everyone through once you see that number 19 come off pit road, and we'll find out who truly is on the lead lap. But yeah, that's kind of the story, Ken. You know, the trucks, as you mentioned, in Xfinity, there was only, I think, a top 5 or 6 cars that ended the thing under the lead lap.
Yeah, and you see Tony Solari, he was your points leader there after Richie came, or your race leader there as Richie Coy came in, and he's going to come down pit road, make his stop, and let's see kind of where this thing cycles through. I think we had Tony in first and Richie in second. Richie made his pit stop and across the line, still in second place, right in front of Sherwood by about 2 seconds, about a second and a half now. So I believe once this cycle through, Jeremy, this is going to put Richie first with Sherwood in third, and it might quite possibly put Josh Johnson in that third spot. We'll see where that plays out. But right ahead there on our TV, you see Ryan Hedrick, who just got put a lap down before he came on pit road, and with those fresher tires, he was able to make up some time there on Richie and got him back out there in front. So he's gonna probably be the one that's the last car on the lead lap. So he's gonna try to fight like hell to stay up in front of Richie Coy, but it's gonna be hard with those fresh tires of Richie.
Yeah, that leaves 7 drivers actually on the lead lap for this thing. So yeah, Richie Coy's coming quick on to Ryan Hedrick here, and the one of Kevin Rupert actually cycled through once again now 5 cars. So yeah, 5 cars are the only thing remaining. 4 others for Richie Coy to pass for any type of security for his spot. But Richie Coy, fast car, he's got that clean air too, which is oh so important.
Yeah, it's just like we mentioned that pre-race, Jeremy, where and you think you just missed it that last couple of laps ago too, where only 5 on the lead lap, and it's been happening all week here at Dover, where you don't have many on the lead lap, just the way that these green flag runs play out and the different strategies that everyone's playing. And we might be kind of right in that thing, because Kevin Rupert and Ryan Hedrick, they're battling it out for that 5th place, 4th place, top 5. Stay on the lead lap, stay ahead of Richie, all the above. I mean, do whichever you want, but you want to be ahead of that other guy right now, just in case there is a caution that comes out and Richie does catch you, that you're the one that can get your lap back. But nice little battle between those two as they're trying to fight for that 4th place and stay on the lead lap.
It's a great battle to watch up front, but at the same time, you lose time whenever you do that to that guy that's lurking, that number 19. So, but Ryan Hedrick has found a way to clear him, and that's good news for Ryan. It's as mentioned, he's now in 4th place, so the points gap is not as strong as what it was about 20 laps ago, being in 9th place. So finishing in 4th still gives him a decent chance, of trying to find any mishap from Richie in the final 2 races if they finish the way they do right now. But we are about 46 laps away from figuring what this thing's going to look like at the end. And the battle, actually the one Kevin Rupert's kind of not letting him go, as he's keeping about 2 car lengths away from that 47.
Great run there for Kevin in that one car. Chad Wayne, 4th, he's 1 lap down, sitting in 6th. One little caution can get him back on the lead lap. So great run by these guys, keeping it clean, taking advantage of everything going on. So we see the 4 right there, Chad Wayne, with the 12 of Matthew Gearinger right behind him. That's a battle for position between those two. So that's for your 6th place. And then I think Brian Dubois is a little bit behind him. There's a car in between those two. But those are, we got 1, 2, looks like 5 here on 1 lap down. So those 5 are going to be battling for position. And then we got 5 on the lead lap. So a couple of different battles here on the track going on.
And of course, the main one is, at least on the lead lap side, is the 47 and the number 1, as they're basically nose to tail at this point. And then, you got 5 guys 1 lap down, and that's Chad Lang and Matthew Gearinger. They're about 3-4 car lengths separated right now, and they're on the front stretch at this time. And Brian Dubois is not too far off of them. Tony Solari pitted later than everybody, so he's got the fresh set of tires that everyone. He might be able to catch back up and gain 1 or 2 spots. He's currently sitting in 9th place in that number 11 Menards Ford Mustang. But it's what a day for Richie Coy. What a day. Starting up front, getting involved in somebody else's really weird mess. Took 100 laps to get back to battling for the lead with that nose damage, and now he's, really just setting sail. 4.6 seconds over second place Sherwood Williford, which props to that guy, winner of last week's race, and now he's looking to be, back-to-back podium. If he keeps this thing up, you're going to be first, second in back-to-back weeks.
Yeah, great couple weeks for him too. So it's nice to see getting some, this whole season really too. We've had a couple guys that had multiple winners, throughout the season, but a lot of it we've had where it's been different podium finishes on these guys. Not very much of his consistency with them, but a lot of guys, a lot of fresh faces that we see come through on the podium spot. So it's definitely a great competing season that we've had so far. And like I said, we've only had, besides Brody Hanna, who just, had a great start to the season, Richie Coy's the only multiple winner this season. So not too many multiple winners that we've had so far between those two.
Yeah, that's for sure. And no chasing on that 33. He doesn't have a lot of friends out here. He's basically the only team driver. He got some people behind the scenes that kind of help him out here and there, but it's nothing like that Fury Motorsports with that number 19 leading the way. His support system is just, he's got more support with two other teammates that run full time. And sure was able to make some dominant moves happen here with that 33 Timothy Moore's Camaro. So props to him, for having some really strong speed. He's had good speed all season long, really. A couple of miscues here and there, but for the most part, that 33, if he's on it, he stays clear of a lot of people's messes and just kind of does his own thing, and that's why he's able to do what he does.
Yeah, clean car, clean race, and guarantee yourself a top 5, definitely a top 10 finish, and he's done that all season, and we see it tonight as well. And not to add to it, just being great overall at with driving the car as well, that definitely helps. So put that all together, and here you are all season having a great run, sitting 7th in points. We've talked to him a couple times. He's missed a couple races. Who knows what might happen with that? Even if you give him 20 points, he might be up there with everyone else running top 3. But it is what it is. Maybe next season we can get a full one under us and see what happens for him. But still, overall, great run and great shout out for his sponsors that he has on that as well. If you're looking for an attorney, he might have one for you if you're in the area.
That's true. And then also on Nerd TV, we see Richie Coy finally taking the 47 with him, throwing him one lap down, that being Ryan Hedrick, second place in points. And then Kevin Rupert right now is on his trail. About 1 car length separates these two guys. And about in a lap or so, he's going to throw that number 1 lap down. And that's going to leave 3 individuals left on the lead lap. And Kevin Rupert gives it up that time. Let's see what kind of run Hedrick can get. The one played that real nice, gives it up early in the corner, shoots down the track for optimal speed. Going to keep about a 2 to 3 car length advantage in turn number 3 over the 47 Ryan Hedrick. Pretty good plan there to keep that pace going in front of him to kind of maximize that speed. Kevin Rupert or Richie Coy, though, only got him, Sherwood, and Josh Johnson. Your 3 cars left on the lead lap, and Josh Johnson's really not too far ahead. Yeah, he's on the same straightaway.
Yeah, you could see him. As last lap, he was entering 3, and Josh was almost in 4, but now he's right there. So this might be to a 2-car field, Jeremy, Richie and Sherwood, and it's kind of what you saw way now in there. Looks like he got into the wall, as we see in the background there of Nerd TV. Not sure if he made contact with the wall in there in 4, but kind of cut through some people. Great avoidance by everyone. Not to have a caution there, but in a short couple of laps, Jeremy, like I said, he might run Josh Johnson and put 2 of them on the lead lap, just like we saw on Thursday night in the Xfinity.
Yeah, speaking of that, I was that second place guy. I was Mr. Sherwood in this position. I think I finished like 12 seconds back of the race leader right now, Richie Coy. So this guy on this long run, I don't know how he does in the long run, but he just dominates this track. He knows something that I don't know. I was taking it, I thought, super easy, but he's like, nah, I one-up you and can manage my tires and be fast at the same time. So props to him on having a long run feel on a fixed setup or open setup at this place, because it's tough to tame. It really is. I know it's Darlington's slogan, which is next week, but this track also fits that catchphrase.
Yeah, either way, you could, miles too tough to tame. Darlington, the Monster, whichever way you want to look at it. They're both hard to control, but we see Richie Coy. I mean, he's coming right to the back of that 57. He's going to dive it on the inside. Josh will give it up, but I don't think he's going to give it up as easy as he would just because he's trying to stay on the lap. But yeah, Richie's trying to go high and low on him, and Josh, he doesn't want to give it up. Ultimately will, but he's what he's trying not to do. You can see that one car there. Kevin Rupert's going to try to squeeze right under the 57, and that's what the 57 does not want, because if we do have a caution come out, he could lose that lucky dog. So he wants to kind of ride right there with Richie Coy and keep that first car one lap down.
Yeah, looks like Josh Johnson does give it up. Richie Coy, one of two cars down the lead lap. Now it's time for that 57 to regroup, and what way to do it than strapping on a set of Martin Sports gloves, home of these sim gloves. All of sim racing, that's the best way to find a grip here. That's why they get the hashtag Get a Grip award when they get their spot back from a Lucky Dog recipient. So head over to martinsports906.com and check out their full apparel lineup, including the pre-orders list for Nerditudes exclusively on martinsports906.com. And when you do so, whatever you purchase, make sure to use that Super Nerd checkout code you see there in the white box on your screen on the bottom left-hand side. Super Nerd, 25% off everything that you purchase. Crazy deal for a crazy good product. You can't beat it. martinsports906.com. Right now, that 1 and 57 are running pretty good side by side here. This is a battle for third place, even though they're both one lap down. Looks like Rupert's going to take that from the 57. New podium person in position right now, Mr. Rupert.
Yeah, Kevin Rupert just making that move there on Josh Johnson. I'm not sure if Josh was pulling up his, had his tires or not, kind of wearing in. But we have 24 laps to go. You see these two battling out right behind them, Jeremy. You can see him in the picture. Ryan Hedrick, he's second place in points, fifth right now on the race. Can see third place, right, that podium finish right in front of him. So Ryan might have been saving his tires towards the end of this thing and seeing if he can, pull off something and get a podium finish out of it, because he is gaining on these guys. And one of those right in front of him, Jeremy, is his teammate. And I know they're battling it out for Rookie of the Year, but something tells me if he gets to him, he might actually let him go on this one just so he can go ahead and run down there and get as many points gained as he can.
I mean, I would not blame him if he did, and, with 23 laps to go, and he's actually running on a faster pace, so just by nature of that alone, I'm sure he's going to be able to get around him, but I would not be surprised if your theory is correct and he just lets him scoot by and say, hey, you know what? You need fourth place way more than I do, so go ahead and take it from me, and we might see that here shortly, because Ryan Hedrick's coming on quick onto that 57.
He's getting a great runoff, and you can see the difference between those two, where I'm not sure, it could be the handle, could be the tires, the setup, whichever way. I'm sure they're pretty close because they're teammates, but the runoff that Ryan was getting there off of 4 was just a little bit better than the 57 of Josh Johnson, and that's what kind of brought him a little closer there. But they switched roles this time, where you can see Josh get the better runoff instead of Ryan off of 2. So it's just, this track, you got to maintain it 200 laps and just nail it every single time, and it's hard to do with the way that the tires wear and the track goes in over time. It's especially just that transitioning off that corner, Jeremy, right onto the straight. It's a lot of fun, but it's a little challenge.
Yeah, this track mentally kicks your butt. That is for sure. To hit those marks perfectly every time. You see the 47 go below the 57 here, and it looks like 57 is going to easily give it up to Ryan Hedrick. It's a new fourth place podium runner-up position right now. That'd be Mr. Ryan Hedrick. Takes that over, no problem. And so there's no one really behind them that's going to be worth anything for a position for a while until you get to Matthew Gehringer. And then Kevin Rupert is about probably 2 seconds ahead. So I don't know what that pace exactly looks like at this time. There might be a slight chance he can get up there and maybe contend with him. I don't think so with only 19 laps to go. Really tough to say for sure. Last time buying Ryan Hedrick, 24.28. Kevin Rupert, 24.1. So they're, within a tenth of each other. So it's going to be tough. But I think right now Kevin Rupert has that advantage entering these last 20 laps.
Yeah, they're running pretty much identical lap times there. So it's going to take something like we've seen before, where it's a little slip up, whether it's driving in too much, wash up, whatever the case may be. That's what Ryan's going to need from Kevin to help him squeeze that gap a little bit quicker, a little bit more, because Rick mentioned 16 laps to go, not much time to make up what you need. Still great points there and being in fourth, but with Richie Coy out there leading the way, it's definitely not what you want to see, but it takes the pain away a little bit.
Actually, those last couple of laps, Ryan was actually gaining some time too, so he's not done yet. He's trying. He almost pushed it a little too far on exit 2 and almost slapped the wall, got a little loose, had to dip it down. Outside of that, though, he's putting on a little bit of a charge here. Going through the times this time around, looks like he was just a 10th off that time. I think that's because he's got close to that wall. So equal times. I don't think he's going to do it because we got 15 laps left in this thing. But it's still a strong performance overall. And it's about time we have the number 1, Kevin Rupert. It's been a while since we've talked to this man up in the podium.
Yeah, it'd be nice to get him up here and have a nice finish and get that 3rd place for him. I haven't talked to Ryan either, so either one of them, it's been a while since we had a little conversation with him too, so it'd be nice to see him back in the podium finish. So either one of these two, and Josh Johnson sitting right there behind him, I don't think he'll be, has the car to compete with these two up here. I think this might be the Ryan and Kevin kind of battling for that top 3. But still, either way, it'd be nice to speak with one of these two, and we'll see where it plays out. But he does look like he's slowly gaining some time, Jeremy. We got 13 laps to go, and that's plenty of time here, especially if he can keep the pace that he's going up, he might be there. Now, once he gets there, though, passing him is a whole different ballgame.
Especially at Dover. It almost takes a slip up or a really strong car to make any type of pass, really. So, see if he's able to get that done here with just outside 10 laps to go at this point in time. But the man on the mission, you see him on the screen, that black and yellow DeWalt Ford Mustang, Mr. Richie Coy. Taking on lap 190 right now, so that's 11 laps to go on this event, and just kind of setting sail, just over 11 seconds ahead of that 33 Sherwood Williford, one of only 2 cars on the lead lap. He just did this on Thursday in the Xfinity Series against me and the rest of the field, so very familiar spot that I'm used to seeing, at least from last week.
12 seconds too.
Yeah. Just 12 seconds, too, yeah. So he's about to basically going to do the same exact thing as he did to me on Thursday over Sherwood this time. So just once again, shout out for the long run here. He's got something figured out that I haven't seen anybody else do in a long time.
Yeah, that Fury Motorsports gang just can put some setups together, and Richie can just drive the wheels off that. And these long runs, I mean, he's done it all season. You got to think about it. I mean, most of the tracks, I know at Phoenix, before he had some trouble there, Richmond, a couple others I'm sure I can name off too, but just was able to keep the long run and keep the speed up the whole entire time as well, which is impressive in itself. So it's nice to see that, and just a good run by Richie, an impressive run to have that incident, a little bit of damage, get that thing fixed, and now leading the way. I mean, we got 8 laps to go. We see little teammates here going to go by. Ryan Hendricks not going to have an issue with Brian Dubois. He's going to let him go. Trying to run down Kevin Rupert. But, I wish Chuck wouldn't have had that issue. It would have been nice to see what Richie and Chuck could do, the battle for this thing. And we've had that happen. Like we mentioned earlier, as long as they stay out of trouble, it'll be a good battle to the end, and just something happened to Chuck.
We've seen them battle, like you said earlier, quite a few times throughout this season. And super unfortunate that it only takes a pit stop to kind of eliminate your day. You didn't hit anything, kept the car super clean. The only thing that's hit the car really is the bugs that fly over the nose and maybe some dirt. Outside of that, nothing. Then you come down pit road and just hit the brake a second or two too late. Takes you out of contention, and he knew it. That's why he had exited right away. His night was completely toast as far as what he wanted, so just kind of took it to himself and back to that. But yeah, it would have been awesome to watch. It would have been awesome to watch the 75 and 19 kind of duke this thing out, but nonetheless, he's not here. The 19 got 5 laps to go and still extending that lead. He's about, actually 13 that last time by, and probably a little bit more this time by.
And, it's still, these guys are pretty spread out. So unless we see something crazy like a self spin or something, they should finish under green. But that's definitely not what Richie would want to see. I know he's only battling 3 guys at that point, but you might even have some of them take the wave around. So that put him back a little bit, but don't want to see it. 4 laps to go. Make up after that little mishap. And I can't wait to talk to Richie on this one, Jeremy, to see, going from that great high, leading the race, great start, to getting that damage and having to get it fixed, not having the power, to getting it fixed and back up to the point. So I'm excited to talk to Richie after this one.
I want to figure out his magic. You think maybe he'll key me on his magic, what he's got around here?
I mean, he'll just tell you that, he's fast, but I don't think he's going to let you know why.
My producer has no faith, says no in my ear.
Just no. That's all. Just a straight no.
Yeah, no reason. Just no. He's pretty solid. Let's see if he's nice enough. He's a nice guy, chatting with him, but, that book of secrets might be pretty tightly sealed, so we'll find out.
His notebook compared to your notebook, they're just on two different levels, though. I mean, we're talking first grade to 12th grade, unfortunately for you. And I'm not there with you. I'm right there with you, so I can't really say too much. But he's got that book down.
Hey, my book is retired 2 months ago, so you leave my strategy book out of this thing. But
White flag.
Yeah, I always bring the wrong one. That's why it's retired, so I can't make the mistake again. But we have a half a lap left. Richie Coy obviously been doing this thing strong, up to a 15-second lead, entering turn number 3 and 4 for the final time. Looks like he's going to take home the Dover 200. Richie Coy, your race winner for tonight's event.
And that's going to bring home, even though he's second across the line, he'll come home in third place. That's Kevin Rupert there, and that's going to bring, it looks like Sherwood's going to finish this thing off, Jeremy, with the top 3 as he's coming around and take that second position. So great run by him as well.
Yeah, I mean, even though Richie Coy put on a huge clinic, does not take the fact away that these guys in the top 5, 6, 7 all put on a pretty dominant performance, because in retrospect, if it wasn't for Richie Coy, a lot of these guys would be bundled up and they'd be racing on the lead lap. So still a strong effort by a bunch of these guys in here within the top 10. Kenneth Scholes, especially, I don't know how he did it, only 4 laps down in that modified. He didn't even belong in this series after that wreck. So we're going to see Richie Coy burn it down. And as we do that,
Polish lap, he's going to do that. Every win, he kind of does that vintage Polish lap there.
He really does. He really appreciates the virtual fans for showing up every night, and especially at Dover, where he thinks he knows he's going to win, and he does actually win. So just kind of giving a little celebratory hand wave out this virtual window and saying thanks. And as he's doing that, we need to go over the official results for everybody before we get these interviews underway. First and foremost, Richie Coy, as you know by now, take home the checkered flag. Sherwood Williford going to be in second place. Kevin Rupert finishes third, 1 car, 1 lap down. Ryan Hedrick fourth. Josh Johnson, his teammate, in fifth. Matthew Geringer in sixth. Chad Lang, 7th place. Tony Solari rounds out in 8th. Brian Dublé, 9th place, 2 laps down. In 10th place, Kenneth Scholes, 4 laps down.
And going to be sitting here in 11th place. Started 11th, Wayne Grassy at 18 laps down. A little bit of incidents. Looks like all these that's going to kind of be round out are going to have a multiple laps down. Chris Beck at 26 laps down. He's going to finish 12th. 13th is going to be Lane Allen. 14th is Steve Loomis. Chuck Sweeting going to be coming home in 15th after that little mishap on pit road. James Wallace, 16th. Brandon Elder, fast early. Unfortunate mistake there is going to put him in 17th. Stephen Wu Allen finishing 18th. And the round out your field, Gil Gawk, 19th position.
Yeah, that's the last of the running drivers. Everybody else did not show up that was on the starting grid. And I think this time is to kick it over to the Martin Sports post-race show, presented, of course, by Martin Sports. We'll get these interviews underway, see if we can get a hold of Mr. Kevin Rupert. Looks like he is available to have a word with. Let's see if we can drag him in here. Mr. Kevin Rupert, you got a copy?
I do.
Hey man, congratulations! It's been a while since we talked to you here on the podium, and you found it in Dover. Minus Richie Coy put on a hell of a show. The rest of you guys had a pretty dominant ride yourselves, and how are you able to maintain that number one nice and clean all the way to the finish inside of the podium?
The team actually brought a pretty stable setup tonight, so it hugged the bottom really well and got off the corners really good. So when people were a little bit faster than me, they still struggled to get by me. It was good. I don't know whether to be excited for a podium or disappointed that I got a podium and was still a lap down.
Yeah, I was just gonna mention, you finished one lap down the score sheet, but you had the car to get up there and get that podium finish. It's just, Richie Coy just has something with these long runs and this setup that he has going. But it was a great run by you, and we thought we might have a battle there with Ryan Hedrick. We didn't know if he's gonna be able to get up to you or not, but you were able to prevail and even pull some on him and secure that third position. So great run. Do you think those tires were holding off pretty well to the end there for you?
Yeah, my tire wear was really good. I was surprised when I looked at them. Yeah, Ryan and I raced quite a bit tonight, and the first long run there at the end of the long run, he caught back up to me, so I was a little bit worried. But the last run was shorter, so I felt pretty good. I was also surprised I kind of stuck with Richie there. I guess he was just taking it easy. He was on cruise control.
Yeah, I almost felt like he was at some points compared to, this last stint here where he finished 16 seconds ahead of second place. It makes you wonder if he was just kind of playing possum there the first half of the race, just kind of not showing off his stuff. Um, but congratulations, man, making the podium at Dover, third place. It's a hell of a run there. And that Bullet Rye Whiskey, Gladiators of Racing Ford Mustang. Anyone out there at Nerd TV that's watching you'd love to give a shout out to?
Well, just like always, to my teammates, I hated that Rob and Shane weren't able to make it tonight, but they had real life issues, rain and kids playing sports. And then Ken, I hate it for Ken. He got into that. I think the very first lap, he hit the wall there, and kind of ruined his night. He had a good car as well. So yeah, just my team, they're great guys. I love racing with them, and I appreciate the admins and all they do for the league.
Yeah, appreciate those kind words across the board. And all right, man, go ahead and celebrate. I know Mr. Kenneth Scholes was looking forward to it. He put on a lot of laps in practice too, so give him my thoughts, man, on that one. Great effort, anyways, to at least to show up to the field. But go ahead and celebrate with the team, man. Enjoy the rest of your night.
Yep, I'm going to celebrate with a sponsor tonight. Time to go to bed.
Yes, sir. There you go. And that was Kevin Rupert. They're in that number 1 Ford Mustang. That's going to bring in, I think, Mr. Sherwood Williford, who finishes runner up tonight. And that number 33, Timothy Moore Chevrolet. You got a copy, man?
Yeah, I got you.
Hey, man, congratulations on second place. Pretty well fought race. I know mine. If Richie wasn't in the race, like you had the car to beat essentially, but he was on a whole nother zip code. So I don't know if you can even count him, but back-to-back podiums, man. Winner last week, come in here, finish second. So nice little streak you got going on for yourself.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised getting the pole also. I didn't think it would hold up. But there at the end, that last stop, Richie had fresher tires because I don't think results would have been the same. But you know, he had a good car. But I ain't had no laps in the car this week, and I wasn't really sure what I was gonna do from the half to run out. And this next gen car, it just is like you're rolling the dice when you get back in the throttle at a place like this.
Yeah, and I've noticed earlier in the week, in the ARCA series that you finished top 5, got 5th in that race, and got second tonight. Is this one of those tracks that when you come to, you just know you're going to have a good run at it and you enjoy this place, or is there something else tonight that was going on? But it's a great run overall. Getting that second place, like Jeremy mentioned, back-to-back podiums. So great run. But is this just one of those places that you seem to kind of get a grip for?
Yeah, I usually run good here because it's a good rhythm track. Um, I have been bit sometimes by the crash and get caught up in it, and or a pit stop and a caution come out, but usually if them two things don't happen, I usually wind up in the top 10, top 5, top 10.
And yeah, you definitely is one of those rhythm tracks for sure. And you found the way to get second place. So anytime you get second place at a track like this with the group of guys that you're racing with, like at Full Throttle, them racing, it's an accomplishment all on its own. So congratulations on that second place. I know you gave a brief shout out last week. Did you find any new followers this week to join you on the broadcast?
Well, to give a shout out to Lane Allen, he had a good car also. He just got caught speeding on pit road. He probably would have been second. Uh, I don't know what happened to Chuck, but shout out to the Blackwater guys working together trying to have something decent to race come race night, and
Yeah,
the league and you guys.
Yeah, appreciate those kind words. Chuck did get hit with the speeding penalty as well, and it looked like he just backed out right after that, knowing that he overshot the stall, at least from our perspective. But yeah, that sucks for Laydown as well, who had a pretty strong car, and it just takes, it takes a half a second difference on that brake pedal to kind of make or break your night. So, but congratulations once again on second place, man.
Thank you, guys.
You got it. And that was your runner-up tonight, Mr. Sherwood Williford, and that leaves one guy, the winner and the dominant finisher of tonight's race, Mr. Richie Coy. You got a copy, man?
What's up, nerds?
Hey,
What's
man.
up?
What's up? Casual Sunday drive for you, really, on a Monday night at Dover on that back half of that race, anyways. I have to ask you a personal question because you did the same thing to me on Thursday where you just gapped me by a mile. What's your long run secret?
There really is not much of a secret. I've been trying to not take off and burn that tire off in the first 4 or 5 laps. And it seems like if you can not burn the tires off in the first 4 or 5 laps, you get a lot better long run speed. And then just trying to take care of the tire throughout the run.
Yeah, we could definitely tell that, you were taking care of those tires and moving through the field and, showing the strong start that you had to start on this race to take that lead. And then unfortunate they're under caution to take a little bit of nose damage. And it looks like it's cost some of your speed there on the start of that restart, but you were able to maintain it and then get it fixed there on pit road. And then it was just a whole other story after that second half. So definitely had the speed tonight and the class of the field. Just great runs here at Dover. This must be one of those tracks that you just kind of grasp to really easy, I'd assume.
Honestly, up until these cars, it's kind of been hit or miss here, but I do like it. I like the concrete. I like the sliding. It's a difficult track. You got to do a little bit with tires. You got to change lines, and I do kind of especially after tonight. I definitely like this track, and I'm going to go against my car owner and say that I'm kind of digging the car. I'm really loving the next gen car.
Well, yeah, we know Brody doesn't like that, but that's going to put you with 3 wins too for the season, tied with Brody. So you two, the only 2 drivers with 3 wins this season with this car.
I mean, honestly, it's been kind of a weird season where I've had some really good runs that got taken away by something silly happening on the racetrack. I almost thought that was going to happen tonight. I got a minute and a half of damage, and you're right, that second run, I just didn't have the straightaway speed, and I came in on that one caution. We got it most of it fixed. I think I got like a minute of it fixed on that caution. And it picked up like 200 or 300 RPMs, which was just enough to be able to come up through the field. And I don't know. It's just, I'm really taken to the car, and these wins, they may look easy, but they're not easy. There's nothing easy about this car or this league.
Yeah, it's absolutely true. And I know Kenny actually asked me right before, I was going to ask anyways. I'm going to, since you brought it up, that incident with the 17 that gave you that nose damage. What was your perspective on that?
When I came around 4, I was looking for the pace car, and I didn't really see him until he kind of spun into the racetrack. And then I was starting to slow down. I was, I guess, going a little bit too fast. I was going to start to slow down. And I went to go high, and he was still there. And then I kind of went to go low. And then he powered it up and went low. And then I just locked it up because I was like, oh, crap, here we go.
And thankfully, it didn't promote too much damage on that nose. It looked like it struggled in air a little bit, but once you got that thing fixed, that thing was back off and being a bullet. But yeah, congratulations, man, on taking on the W. It's going to extend your points lead to probably 17, 18 points, maybe even close to 20 after the points get all finalized. So that's going to really help you going into Darlington and Kansas. Who's out there in the Nerd TV world tonight that's out there watching you? They'd love to give a shout out to.
I want to shout out to my friends and family, to my teammates, Brody and Tony. Tony, I think, had a good night tonight, finishing in the top 10, and Brody was on the mic tonight, giving us, spotting duties and stuff like that. So I got to thank those two. Came with another great setup this week. Thanks to you guys. Thanks to the league. Thanks to all the competitors that came and raced with us tonight. Actually, it was a great race. We had a couple early cautions, and I thought it was going to be different, but then we had that really long green flag run. So, got to thank everybody that was involved in keeping it green there.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Appreciate all those kind words too. Go ahead and celebrate with that team. Enjoy the victory, and good luck to you in the final 2 races of the season.
Thanks, guys. Next week is throwback week too, so I'm going to be throwing back to my father when he actually had 3 Cup starts in the mid '80s, and I'm going to go throw back to his paint scheme from when he did his first Cup start in like 1984.
That's a couple of fun
Oh,
facts.
that's
And that's
awesome.
badass too. Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome, man. So, yeah, go and rock that scheme and get that thing in W too, or at least try to get that thing into victory lane because that'd be awesome to kind of do a little throwback celebration.
We're going to try, but thanks again, guys. Appreciate it. You guys doing a great job.
Yeah, appreciate those words once
Appreciate it.
again. And that's going to be Richie Coy, the race winner for tonight's Dover 200. And that, Kenny, brings us down to 2 events left of the season. We got Darlington, and this is Lady in Black. And then we have Kansas, where you find Dorothy. Should be a fun 2 events to kind of round out the season. Let's see if Richie can do it. What's your thoughts going into the final 2 events?
That's the momentum that Richie needed to go into those final 2 events. And I heard, if you heard him correctly there, he said he had a minute and a half of damage and did a minute, and he gained a couple RPMs and still put on that performance. So that car not being up the full stint, and he's just driving the wheels off of it this season. So I'm excited to see what Darlington brings to it. It's going to be some tight racing, and we're going to have some good battles, I believe, on that track too, especially going into 3 and 4, just to how tight it's going to get there. So we'll see some stripes for sure next week.
I think Dustin, our producer, was probably right saying he would not give up that secret. That was a very laid back response to my question. But the same token, maybe you need to lose a couple of RPM to save those tires. You're not driving in the corner so hard. Maybe there's something there. I'm not sure. But quick thank you to all our sponsors once again before we wrap up tonight's broadcast. Appreciate the Full Throttle Sim Racing League for letting us do this for you guys each and every Monday and Wednesday night. It's been a blast. We got 2 more weeks to cover, plus all-star events happening afterwards. Should be a blast as well for that event alone. Please sign up for their website, FTSR.net. Sign up for the new series coming out, or the new schedule for the new season here in just a few short weeks. I think they're taking like a 1 or 2 week layaway before they're back at it again. So if you want to be part of an awesome points event, points battle, please go to FTSR.net. Sim Racing Points, your truck series sponsor and official sponsor of the Nerditudes as well. Recently jumping on board. They have a hot new fresh logo there. Great product. If you go to FTSR.net, look at the results, look at the standings. All that super filled amount of information is presented by Sim Racing Points. Go to simracingpoints.com, check out their stuff. Great price plan, and just as you see on their webpage, it's just an awesome amount of stuff that they present to you. And then Martin Sports, home of the sim gloves of all sim racing, martinsports906.com. Super Nerd at checkout, 25% off of all their product. Make sure to check out the Nerditude swag line. Pre-orders up, available. Got a nice set of gloves up there. Looks really hot. Can't wait to get a pair of my own. Once again, martinsports906.com. You have iRacing iFlag, official flag partner of Nerditudes. It's your caution/indication system and all your iRacing needs, all on a 4x6 3D printed little piece of awesomeness that you can add to your sim rig. You go to iRacingIFlag.com, Super Nerd at checkout, 15% off of their stuff. And then the Butt Kicker, the audio enhancement provider of Nerditudes. Go to buttkicker.com, check out the Gamer 2 unit or whatever units they have. You can upgrade, downgrade. It's just the Gamer 2 alone's a pretty solid one. Gives you that much needed feel and performance from your sim seat to get the job done on the racing track. Once again, thebuttkicker.com, Nerd TV at checkout, 20% off all their products. And then quick shout out to nerdfocus.com, official energy provider of Nerditudes. You're going to use Super Nerd at checkout for 10% off of their 2 drinks, sugar-free, blue, and then the sugar variant, green, which you see on your screen right now. Once again, that's nerdfocus.com. And then on the asphalt side of all setups, there's only one place to turn, really, and that's going to be the Moonlight Speed Concept Group, moonlightspeed.com. You can follow them on Twitter, join their Discord group. Great set of people, professional-like setups across the board for all your asphalt needs, moonlightspeed.com. And then houseofspeed.us for everything professionalized on the dirt oval side. These setups are guaranteed to give you some W's. So go to their site, sign up, get some setups, and get yourself some wins. All right, That's going to round up tonight's broadcast for Nerd TV. We're going to come back at you live from Darlington on Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And that's going to be 2 races left into the season. Let's see who can take home the Truck Series Championship presented by Sim Racing Points. But until then, you guys stay safe out there and make sure to get your nerd on.
Later, nerds.